Hi everybody, my name is Areil. Welcome back to my channel Bookish English. Today we're talking about something very simple, but also very powerful. Why should you repeat after me? Why do teachers and language coaches say this again and again? Well, let me ask you something. Have you ever watched an English video, understood the words, maybe even enjoyed it, but when it was your turn to speak, nothing came out? Have you listened to a sentence, thought, yes, I know what that means, but then when someone asked you a question, your mouth just froze? That's not because you're bad at English. It's not because you're slow or not smart. It's because listening and speaking are two different skills. That's where repeating after a native speaker, like me, can really help. When you repeat after me, you're not just copying sounds. You're training your mouth, your brain, and your ears to work together in English. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why repeating is not just a good idea. It's a must if you want to speak naturally and confidently. And if you stay with me until the end, I'll show you how to do it the smart way. Let's get started. Chapter 1. The speaking problem. No one talks about. Let's start with something honest, a big truth that not many people talk about. Just listening to English is not enough. Listening is important, yes. But if you want to speak English clearly and confidently, you have to do more than just listen. Many English learners think, if I just listen to podcasts, if I watch a lot of videos, I will start speaking better. But for most people, that doesn't happen. Listening helps you understand. But understanding something in your head and saying it out loud with your mouth, those are two different things. Let me give you an example. Maybe you listen to this sentence. I'm going to the store. You understand it. No problem. You know what it means. You feel confident. But then one day someone asks you, hey, what are you doing? And your brain thinks of the sentence, but your mouth just stops. You freeze. You want to say it, but your tongue doesn't move the right way. Your voice feels unsure. Maybe you feel nervous. That's because your mouth hasn't practiced. You haven't trained your speaking muscles. Yes, your mouth has muscles. Your lips, your tongue, your jaw, they all need practice to say words easily and naturally. Think of it like this. If you learn to play the piano, you don't just watch videos of people playing. You don't just listen to songs. You sit down, you put your fingers on the keys, you press the notes. Slowly, again and again. Your fingers learn how to move. Your brain and your body work together. That's how you get better. The same is true with English speaking. Your mouth needs to move. Your tongue needs to practice. Your voice needs to feel the rhythm of English. That's why repeating is so important. When you repeat after a native speaker like me, you are doing more than just copying sounds. You are training your mouth to move like an English speaker's mouth. You are learning the shapes, the rhythm, the stress, the music of English. At first, it might feel strange. Maybe your pronunciation feels slow. Maybe your voice sounds different. That's okay. That's part of the process. You're building something called muscle memory. This means your mouth starts to remember how to say English sounds. Over time, it becomes easier. Your speaking becomes faster. Your voice becomes clearer, but that only happens if you repeat out loud. Many people listen to English quietly. They understand a lot, but they never speak. And then when it's time to talk, they get stuck. I don't want that for you. I want you to feel confident when you speak. And repeating is the first step. You don't need to create your own sentences right away. You just need to copy, listen, pause, repeat. That's it. Simple, right? But very powerful. Even if you repeat only one sentence every day, it will help. Because every time you say a sentence out loud, your brain and your mouth get stronger. You become faster. You feel more ready. Just like exercise for your body, this is exercise for your voice. You are training your speaking skills, and you're doing it in a natural way. So remember, listening is great. Keep doing it. But don't stop there. If you want to speak well, you must repeat. You must speak out loud. You must train your voice to feel comfortable with English. This is the speaking problem no one talks about, but now you know, and now you can fix it. Chapter 2. What happens in your brain when you repeat? Okay, so now you know that just listening is not enough. Repeating is important. But why? What actually happens in your brain when you repeat after me or after any native speaker? Let me explain it in a very simple way. Think of your brain like a big map. There are different places for different things. One area is for listening. Another area is for speaking. When you only listen to English, you are using the listening part of your brain. That's great, but the speaking part is still sleeping. It's quiet. It's not doing anything. So even if you understand a sentence, you may not be able to say it. The connection is missing. But when you repeat after a native speaker, something amazing happens. You wake up that speaking part. You start to connect it with the listening part. It's like connecting two wires in a battery. Suddenly, everything lights up. Your brain becomes active. Your mouth starts to work with your ears. You start thinking in English, not just understanding it. This is why repeating is so powerful. It connects listening and speaking. It helps you build fluency, which means speaking naturally and smoothly. One technique that many language learners use is called shadowing. Maybe you've heard this word before. Shadowing means you listen to a sentence and immediately repeat it, almost at the same time, like a shadow that follows your body. When I say, "I'm going to the market," you try to say it right after me, without stopping the video. You copy my speed, my rhythm, and my pronunciation. It's hard at first, but it's a great way to train your brain to listen and speak together. Now, let's talk about rhythm and intonation. These are very important in English. Rhythm is how the sentence moves. Some words are strong, some words are weak, some parts are fast, some are slow. Intonation is the rise and fall of your voice, like music. For example, when I say, "How are you?" my voice goes up at the end. That sound is part of English. It helps people understand you. If you say the right words but with the wrong rhythm, it might sound strange. But if you repeat after a native speaker, you learn not just the words, but the music of the language. You train your brain to hear it and copy it. There's something else that happens too. When you repeat, your brain starts to notice sentence stress. In English, we don't say every word with the same strength. We stress the important ones. Listen, I want to go to the store. The words want, go, and store are strong. the others are weak. Your brain needs to learn this pattern, and repeating helps you feel it, not just understand it. When you copy my voice, your brain and mouth are learning together. You don't need to study grammar rules or stress charts. Just listen and repeat. Your brain will learn it naturally. Repeating also helps with pronunciation. You start to hear the small sounds that maybe you didn't notice before. Maybe the thia sound in this or the r sound in river. These are hard for many learners. But the more you repeat, the more you train your mouth to make these sounds. You don't just learn what they mean, you learn how they feel. So, what really happens when you repeat after me? Your brain wakes up. Your ears and mouth start working together. You build strong connections inside your brain. You learn the sound, the rhythm, the stress, and the flow of English. And all of this makes you sound more natural. It helps you feel more confident when you speak. Don't worry if it feels difficult at first. That's normal. Your brain is building new connections. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes. So keep repeating. Even if it's just one sentence a day. Every time you do it, your brain learns a little more. That's the power of repetition. Chapter 3. Why you sound better. When you copy sounds, not words. Here's something important. When you repeat after a native speaker, you are not just learning words, you are learning music. Yes, music. English has a rhythm, it has a beat. Some words are strong, some are weak, some sounds are high, some are low. It's not just about what you say, it's about how you say it. And that's why repeating is so powerful. English is what we call a stress-timed language. This means some syllables are stressed, strong and clear, and others are unstressed, quick and quiet. Let me give you an example. If I say, I want to go to the store, I don't say each word with the same strength. Listen again. I want to go to the store. The words want, go, and store are stressed. The other words, I, to, and thee, are much faster and softer. That's the natural rhythm of English. And most learners don't learn this from books. You don't learn it by studying vocabulary lists. You learn it by listening and repeating. When you copy the sounds, you copy more than just the words. You copy the pauses. You copy the music. You copy the feeling of English. That's why it's so helpful to repeat full sentences, not just individual words. If you only repeat a single word, like store, you're not learning how that word sounds in a sentence. But when you say, I want to go to the store, you learn how the word store fits into the music of the whole sentence. That's the magic of repeating real phrases. Let me give you another example. Take the sentence, what do you want to do? In real English, we say this very fast. What do you want to do? If you only learn the words, it's confusing. But when you listen and repeat, you learn the real way people say it. Your mouth learns to move in the right way. Your brain learns the natural flow. This helps you sound more natural, and it helps you understand fast English too. Repeating also helps you learn intonation. That means the rise and fall of your voice. For example, when I ask a question, my voice often goes up at the end. Do you want coffee? That's intonation. If you don't use it, your English might sound flat or robotic. But when you repeat after a native speaker, you learn where to go up, where to go down, where to stop, and where to continue. This makes a big difference. It helps people understand you. It makes you sound confident, friendly, and clear. Another reason repeating full phrases is better than single words is because English is full of connected speech. We don't always say words clearly one by one. We connect them. I'm going to becomes I'm gonna. Did you becomes didja. These changes are hard to learn from a textbook, but very easy to notice when you repeat after someone. Your brain hears the connection. Your mouth learns the shortcut. You stop thinking word by word, and you start speaking in chunks, just like native speakers do. So here's the big idea. Don't just copy words. Copy the sound, copy the voice, copy the rhythm, the stress, the melody. Think of it like singing a song. You don't sing each word slowly by itself. You sing the whole line with feeling. That's what speaking English is like, and repeating helps you sing the language more naturally. Even if you only repeat one sentence a day, it's better to say it with real rhythm than to memorize 10 words with no feeling. Because when you speak English, people don't just hear your vocabulary, they hear your music. And if you want to sound more natural, repeating after real voices is the best way to train yourself. So next time you hear a native speaker, don't just listen for the meaning, listen for the music, and repeat it exactly the same way. Your mouth will get used to it. Your brain will understand it. And slowly, you'll begin to speak not just with words, but with flow, with confidence, and with the real sound of English. Chapter 4. The Repetition. Trap, what not to do. Now that we've talked about why repeating is so powerful, I want to be honest about something. Repeating is helpful, but only if you do it the right way. Yes, even something simple like repeating can go wrong. A lot of beginners fall into what I call the repetition trap. Maybe you're repeating too fast. Maybe you're repeating without understanding. Or maybe you're just repeating words one by one instead of full phrases. If you repeat the wrong way, you're not helping yourself. In fact, you might just be wasting time. So in this chapter, let's talk about what not to do and how to fix it. The first mistake many learners make is repeating too fast. You watch a video or listen to a podcast, and you try to say everything as fast as the speaker, but that's too much, too soon. You're not ready for that speed yet, and that's okay. If you try to go fast too early, you might say the wrong sounds. You'll miss the stress. You'll miss the rhythm. And your mouth won't learn the correct movement. So slow down. In the beginning, it's okay to pause the video. Listen to a sentence. Repeat it slowly and clearly. Then try again. Maybe a little faster. Step by step. Don't race. This is not a test. You're training your voice. You're training your brain. The second mistake is repeating without understanding. This is a big one. Sometimes learners repeat what they hear, but they don't know what it means. Maybe they copy the sound, but their brain is not engaged. It's just noise. That's not real practice. That's just echoing. To make repetition work, you need to understand what you are saying. Even if it's just a short sentence, know the meaning. Think about the situation. Ask yourself, When would someone say this? That helps your brain connect the sound with the idea. That makes your speaking more natural. So before you repeat, make sure you know what the sentence means. Repeat with meaning, not just sound. The third mistake is repeating single words, not phrases. A lot of learners do this. They find a word like beautiful or interesting, and they just say that word over and over again. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That's fine, but it's not enough. Words don't live alone. In real life, words live inside phrases. So instead of just saying beautiful, try saying, that's a beautiful dress, or it's a beautiful day today. Now you're learning how the word works in real situations. You're learning grammar, pronunciation, and rhythm all together. That's much better practice. That's how you build fluency. So how can you repeat the smart way? Here are a few simple steps. First, choose short, natural phrases, maybe from this video or a podcast or a movie. Next, listen carefully. Don't just hear the words. Listen to the rhythm, the intonation, the emotion. Then pause and repeat slowly. Say the whole phrase, not just the words. Try to copy the voice, the music, the feeling. And finally, check if you understand the meaning. If you don't, look it up. Think about it. Use it in your own example. That's smart repetition. That's how you really learn. Also, don't forget to repeat out loud. Not in your head. Your brain needs to hear your voice. Your mouth needs to move. Even if you feel shy, practice out loud when you're alone. It makes a big difference. You're not just learning English. You're learning how to speak English, and your voice is part of that. One last thing, don't try to be perfect. It's okay to make mistakes when you repeat. In fact, mistakes are good. They show you what to work on. The goal is not to sound like a perfect native speaker. The goal is to improve step by step, to build confidence, to feel more comfortable in English. That's what repetition can do for you if you do it the right way. So don't fall into the repetition trap. Don't go too fast. Don't repeat without meaning. And don't just repeat single words. Instead, slow down. Understand what you're saying. Repeat real phrases. Use your voice. Practice smart. And I promise, you'll see real progress. Chapter 5. A simple method you can use today. Now that you know the why, let's talk about the how. This chapter is where we put everything into practice. I'm going to give you a very simple, easy method that you can start using right now, today. You don't need any special tools. You don't need any special apps. All you need is your ears, your voice, and a little time. That's it. We're going to walk through this method step by step using a basic sentence in English. I'll show you how to repeat in a way that trains your pronunciation, rhythm, and speed. You can use this method with my videos, with a TV show, a podcast, or any English you hear. It's flexible, and best of all, it works. Okay, let's choose a simple sentence. I'm going to the store. That's it. Just one sentence. It's easy, but there's a lot we can do with it. Step 1. Listen carefully. First, just listen. Don't speak yet. Listen to the sentence with full attention. I'm going to the store. Try to hear the rhythm. Try to hear the stress. Can you notice which words are strong? Which ones are weak? Let me say it again. I'm going to the store. Listen to the music of that sentence, the beat, the sound. Step 2. Repeat slowly. Now say the sentence slowly. Copy the rhythm and stress. Try it with me. I'm going to the store. Don't worry if it's not perfect. Just feel how the sentence moves. Step 3. Pause and copy. Pause the video. Say the sentence again by yourself, out loud. Listen to your voice. Are you stressing the same words? Are you using the same rhythm? It's okay if you need to do it a few times. That's the point. Repetition builds memory. Step 4. Record yourself. Optional. If you want, you can record your voice on your phone. This step is optional, but it's very powerful. Listen to how you sound. Compare it to me or to any native speaker you like. This will help you notice what you're doing well and what you can improve. Step 5. Repeat again. Faster now. Say the sentence again, but this time a little faster. Try to say it the way a native speaker would. Not too slow, not too fast, just naturally. Say it with me. I'm going to the store. Good. Now try it on your own. Pause if you need to. Rewind if you need to. This is how you train. This is how you build fluency, sentence by sentence. You don't need to repeat 100 different words. You just need to practice the right way. The magic is not in how many sentences you repeat. The magic is in how deeply you repeat them, how much attention you give to the rhythm, the voice, the emotion. That's how your mouth and brain learn together. And here's the best part. You can use this method with any English content. Maybe you're watching one of my videos. Great. Choose a short sentence. Repeat it with this method. Or maybe you're watching your favorite show on Netflix. Perfect. Pick one short line from a character. Rewind it. Repeat it like we just practiced. Or maybe you hear a phrase in a podcast and think, oh, that sounds cool. Pause, rewind, and copy. You can even write down the sentence in a notebook. Make your own list of favorite sentences. Practice them again the next day and the day after that. These small steps, repeated daily, create big results over time. So again, here's your method. 1. Listen carefully. 2. Repeat slowly. 3. Pause and copy the rhythm. 4. Optional. Record yourself. 5. Repeat again, a little faster. That's it. Super simple and very effective. So starting today, try this method with one sentence. Just one. Maybe from this video, maybe from another one. Repeat it the right way. Make it part of your daily practice. Trust me, if you do this every day, even just 5 minutes, your pronunciation, rhythm, and speed will get better. You'll start to feel more natural. You'll start to sound more like the English speakers you listen to. And the best part? You'll feel more confident when you speak, because your brain, your ears, and your mouth will all be working together. Chapter 6. How repeating builds confidence. Let's talk about something very real. Speaking English can be scary. Maybe you know the words, maybe you studied for years, but when it's time to speak, your mind goes blank, your heart beats fast, you feel nervous, you're afraid to make a mistake, you're afraid someone won't understand you, or worse, you're afraid someone will understand you, and you won't know how to reply. This is normal. So many learners feel this way. You are not alone. But here's the good news. Repeating can help. In fact, repeating is one of the best ways to reduce fear and build confidence. Why? Because when you repeat, you don't need to think of new sentences. You don't need to worry about grammar or vocabulary. You're not creating, you're copying. And copying is safe. It gives your voice a place to grow without pressure. You hear a native speaker say something and then you just say it too. Simple. That's why repeating creates a kind of safe space for your voice. It's a space where you can practice speaking without fear. You can make mistakes, you can try again, you can change your sound, all without worrying about someone judging you. It's just you, your voice, and the sentence you're practicing. You're not performing for someone. You're training your mouth. That's it. Let me tell you something from my own experience. When I was learning Japanese, I was so afraid to speak. I didn't want to sound wrong. I didn't want people to laugh. So I stayed quiet. I listened. I studied. I read. But I didn't speak. And I didn't improve. Then one day, I started repeating phrases from Japanese podcasts, just short ones. I would listen, pause, and say them out loud. Nobody was listening. Just me. But slowly, I started feeling better. I heard my own voice in Japanese. I thought, okay, that's not so bad. I did it again. And again. And over time, my fear started to go away. That's what repetition does. It gives you a chance to hear yourself in English. Maybe for the first time. And the more you hear yourself, the more normal it feels. The sound of English becomes part of you. It's not scary anymore. It's just practice. It's just your voice, trying something new. Here's something else that's powerful. When you repeat, you're not just copying sound. You're building memory. Your mouth remembers how to say things. Your brain remembers the rhythm. So when it's time to speak to a real person, your sentence is already waiting. You don't need to build it from zero. You've already said it 10 times. You've heard it. You've felt it. It's familiar, and that's what gives you confidence. A confident speaker is not someone who knows everything. A confident speaker is someone who has practiced, someone who has said the sentence before, someone who knows how it feels to say it. That's the kind of confidence repetition gives you. So if you're feeling nervous about speaking English, don't try to do everything at once. Don't force yourself to have a conversation right now. Just start with repeating. Pick a short sentence from this video, or from your favorite show. Listen to it. Say it. Say it again. Say it louder. Say it slower. Say it faster. Get used to your English voice. Make it feel normal. Over time, those small steps add up. You'll find yourself speaking more naturally. You'll notice that you pause less, think less, and speak more. And most important, you'll feel less afraid. Because you've practiced. Because you've prepared. Because your voice is ready. So remember, repeating is not just about learning English. It's about building confidence. It's about giving your voice a chance to grow. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to start. Repeat after me. Repeat every day. And slowly but surely, you'll become someone who speaks English with confidence. Chapter 7. Repeating in Real Life. Yes, you can do it. So far, we've been talking about how to repeat when you're watching videos or listening to something online. But what happens when you're not in front of a screen? What happens when you're out in the real world, walking down the street, waiting for the bus, or cooking dinner? Here's the good news. Repetition doesn't have to be limited to videos or lessons. You can practice repeating anytime, anywhere. And in this chapter, I'm going to show you how to do it. First, let's think about everyday situations where you can practice. You don't need to stop everything you're doing to learn English. You can practice while you're doing other things. Maybe you're folding clothes, making your morning coffee, or sitting on the bus. These are perfect moments to repeat what you've learned. For example, while you're waiting for your coffee to brew, why not repeat some phrases from the last video you watched? Maybe you can practice saying a sentence you learned earlier in the day. It doesn't matter if you're alone or surrounded by people. Just repeat the words out loud, even if you're just talking to yourself. Nobody needs to know. Now, I understand that some of you might be thinking, but what if I look silly talking to myself in public? Let me tell you, I've been there too. When I was learning Japanese, I felt shy, especially when I was outside or in public spaces. But here's what helped me. I started small. In the beginning, I'd just whisper the words to myself. Or sometimes, I'd repeat in my head if I was around people. I'd practice when no one was around to hear. Slowly, I got used to it. And as I practiced more, I started feeling comfortable enough to repeat things out loud. Soon, it didn't feel strange at all. Another trick I used was to focus on what was around me. For example, if I was walking in a park, I might look at a tree and say, "This is a tree." Or I might look at a dog and say, "Look at that dog, it's so cute." It doesn't matter if you're repeating simple phrases. The important part is that you're connecting the words you're learning to real-life objects and situations. The more you do this, the easier it gets. And the more you connect English to your everyday life, the more natural it becomes. If you're cooking, you can repeat phrases related to the kitchen. For example, I'm chopping the onions. I'm boiling the pasta. The soup is ready. These are all simple, real-life sentences that help you practice English in a way that's practical and useful. You're not just memorizing phrases, you're learning how to speak about things you do every day. Here's another little tip from my own journey. Sometimes I'd practice repeating even when I was feeling a bit shy or nervous. If I was on a bus or waiting in line at a store, I'd think of a phrase I'd learned that day and say it softly to myself. If you can repeat a sentence while walking down the street or standing in a crowd, it builds your confidence and makes it feel easier when you need to speak to someone. The key here is to make repetition a natural part of your day. Don't think of it as something extra you have to add to your schedule. Instead, turn it into a habit. Whenever you have a moment of free time, whether you're waiting, walking, or even just thinking, use that time to repeat phrases, words, or sentences in English. Let me share one more example. I used to practice repeating phrases when I was doing something routine, like taking a shower. While the water was running, I would repeat phrases like, "This water feels warm," or "I'm washing my hair." It might sound silly, but it helped me build confidence, and it helped me get used to speaking English in any situation. So don't be afraid to repeat in real life. Whether you're in your room, walking down the street, or waiting for your coffee, use those moments to practice. Repeating in real life helps you stay connected to the language and makes it a natural part of your day. Remember, you don't need a classroom or a lesson to practice English. You just need to find the small moments and make them work for you. With repetition, you'll find that your fluency grows bit by bit, and the best part is, you can do it anywhere. Chapter 8. Tools to make repeating easier and more fun. Now that you know the power of repetition and how it can transform your English skills, let's talk about some tools that will make repeating easier and even more fun. In this chapter, I'm going to share a few helpful tools and tricks you can use to practice repetition in a smart and effective way. Whether you're a beginner or more advanced, these tools can save you time, improve your pronunciation, and keep the process enjoyable. 1. Slow speed audio. One of the best ways to start repeating is to slow things down. Sometimes native speakers speak quickly, and that can make it hard to follow along. But with slow speed audio, you can break things down and practice at a pace that works for you. There are many apps and websites that let you adjust the speed of the audio. For example, some language learning platforms allow you to slow down videos or podcasts. By listening to audio at a slower speed, you can focus on individual sounds, stress patterns, and intonation. This will help you get the rhythm of the language and practice speaking at the right pace. I recommend using apps like YouTube or VoiceThread, which allow you to adjust the speed of videos. You can also use apps like Audible or Spotify for slow-speed podcasts or audiobooks. 2. Transcript readers. Another powerful tool for repetition is a transcript reader. These tools show you the text of what's being said while you listen. Some apps even highlight the text as it's spoken, making it easier for you to follow along and repeat the words accurately. A transcript reader can be super helpful because it gives you a visual reference while you listen. You can see how words are spelled, how they're used in context, and it's easier to match the sounds with the spelling. It's especially useful for learners who like to see the language in writing while they hear it. You can find transcript readers on many language learning platforms, such as Ling.Q, Fluent U, or Speechling. These tools are designed to help you connect listening, reading, and speaking all at once. 3. Language shadowing apps. One of the best techniques for repetition is called shadowing. Shadowing means listening to a native speaker and trying to repeat what they say immediately, just like a shadow following every movement. It's a great way to practice your pronunciation, rhythm, and fluency. There are several apps that make shadowing easy and effective. Apps like Speechling and Shadowing App are designed specifically for this technique. They give you audio recordings of native speakers, and you can repeat after them, sentence by sentence. Some apps even allow you to record your voice and compare it with the original, so you can track your progress over time. 4. Voice recorders. Using your phone's voice recorder can be a simple but powerful tool. Record yourself repeating sentences or words, then listen to the playback. This is a great way to check your pronunciation and see if you're sounding like the native speakers you're learning from. When you listen to your own voice, you can identify areas where you might need more practice, like stressing the right syllables or using the correct intonation. You can also compare your recordings over time to see how much you've improved. Plus, it's a fun way to hear your own progress and celebrate the little victories. If you have a smartphone, you likely already have a voice recorder app built in. If not, you can download free ones like Voice Memos, iPhone, or Easy Voice Recorder, Android. Don't worry about it sounding perfect, just focus on improving little by little. 5. Finding the right material for repetition. Now, let's talk about finding the right material for repetition. One mistake many learners make is choosing content that's either too hard or too easy. If it's too hard, you'll get frustrated because you won't be able to keep up. If it's too easy, you won't improve. The key is to find material that's just the right level for you. This will keep you challenged without feeling overwhelmed. A good rule of thumb is to choose material that you can understand 70 to 80% of, but still includes some words or phrases that you need to learn. You can find this kind of content in podcasts, YouTube channels, movies, TV shows, or apps that specialize in language learning, like BBC Learning English or Duolingo. For example, when watching a TV show, try finding clips that use simple, everyday language. You can then repeat these clips, making sure they're challenging but not too difficult. 6. Make repeating fun. Finally, I want to remind you that repetition doesn't have to be boring. It can actually be a lot of fun if you make it part of your daily routine and use creative methods to practice. For example, try turning repetition into a game. See how many times you can repeat a sentence perfectly in one go. Or challenge yourself to repeat a phrase with different emotions. Try saying it happily, sadly, or excitedly. You can even play with accents or try mimicking the way different people speak. One of my favorite ways to make repetition fun is to choose material I'm genuinely interested in. For example, if you love cooking, try watching cooking shows in English and repeating the instructions. If you're into sports, find commentary from games and repeat the sentences you hear. When you practice with content that excites you, the process doesn't feel like work. It feels like play. By using these tools and techniques, you'll find that repetition becomes not only easier, but also much more enjoyable. Whether you're listening to slow-speed audio, shadowing with apps, or recording your voice, there are plenty of ways to practice that can fit into your life, and by finding material that's the right level for you and keeping it fun, you'll stay motivated and see even faster progress. Chapter 9. How repetition turns into real speaking. All right, we've talked a lot about repetition and why it's such a powerful tool for learning English. But now, let's answer the big question. How does all this repetition turn into real speaking? The answer is simple. Repetition is not the end goal. It's the bridge. In this chapter, we're going to connect everything you've learned so far. You're going to see how repetition helps you build the foundation for real conversations and how it prepares you to speak with confidence. 1. Repetition as the bridge to speaking. Here's the truth. When you repeat, you're not just memorizing words or phrases. You're training your brain and body to react naturally when you need to speak in real situations. Think of repetition as the practice you need to build muscle memory, like learning to play a sport or play an instrument. Just like how a pianist practices scales to improve their performance, you practice speaking patterns, rhythm, and sounds. And when you practice enough, it becomes second nature. The goal is that, when it's time to speak to someone, you don't have to think too hard about it. It will just come out. The more you repeat, the more familiar the words and phrases become. It's like building a toolbox of language in your brain. And when you're in a real conversation, you simply reach into that toolbox and use what you've practiced. 2. Building your speaking memory. One of the biggest challenges in speaking a new language is not knowing what to say when the moment comes. You might freeze, forget a word, or hesitate, but repetition can solve that problem. When you repeat after a native speaker, you're actually building what I like to call your speaking memory. This is the collection of phrases, sounds, and patterns that your brain stores from all the repetition you've done. When you've repeated enough, your brain has a mental database of phrases that you can pull from in any conversation. Think of it like this. You're planting seeds. Each time you repeat something, you're planting a seed in your memory. Over time, those seeds grow into full sentences, and when you need them, they're ready to be used. This is how repetition transforms into speaking ability. 3. Knowing what to say and how to say it. Repetition doesn't just help you remember words. It helps you understand how the language works. It teaches you the rhythm, the pauses, the stress, and the flow of natural speech. This means that when you're in a conversation, you'll know what to say and how to say it. You'll know when to raise your pitch in a question, when to pause for effect, and how to say something naturally. And even more importantly, you won't be thinking about these things consciously. They'll just happen because you've practiced them so much. That's the magic of repetition. It makes you sound more fluent without even thinking about it. 4. How it should sound. One of the key elements of speaking naturally is knowing how it should sound. This includes things like intonation, stress, and rhythm, all of which you get from repetition. When you repeat after native speakers, you're copying the way they say things, not just the words themselves. You're learning the melody of the language. And this is essential for sounding natural when you speak. Imagine listening to a song. You don't just memorize the lyrics. You also remember how the singer sings them, the pauses, the rhythm, and the mood. Language works the same way. Repeating sentences over and over teaches you how English should feel when you speak it. 5. Putting it all together. So, how does repetition turn into real speaking? It's simple. Repetition gives you all the pieces of the puzzle, and when the time comes to speak, you just put them together. You won't have to think too hard about the vocabulary or grammar because you've already practiced it. You'll know how to form sentences quickly, how to pronounce words confidently, and how to use them in the right context. The puzzle is already solved, and speaking becomes just a matter of putting the pieces in the right order. By practicing regularly, You create a system in your brain where English comes naturally to you. You build a foundation that supports every conversation you have, and the more you repeat, the more automatic it becomes. Conclusion. Repetition is the key to turning language practice into real, fluent speaking. It prepares you for real conversations by building your speaking memory, helping you know what to say, how to say it, and how it should sound. Repetition isn't just about learning words. It's about learning the flow of the language and how to use it naturally in the world around you. So, the next time you find yourself in a conversation, remember, you've already done the hard work. You've built the foundation. Now, all that's left is to let it all come together in real-life speaking. So now you know. Repeating is not just practice, it's preparation. It helps you speak clearly, confidently, and naturally. If you want more practice with repetition, try repeating after this video. Go back, pause, repeat. Try it again tomorrow. You'll see progress. I promise. If this video helped you, please subscribe to this channel. Click the like button so I know you enjoyed it, and leave a comment telling me, what sentence or phrase did you repeat today? Thanks for watching Bookish English. See you in the next video. Bye.